The first time Ariba saw him, she understood why the entire country seemed to hold its breath whenever his name was mentioned. Adil Shah, the man who built industries from dust, whose decisions shaped markets, whose presence alone could silence a room. He was power in a tailored suit, confidence in calm eyes, authority carried without effort. Newspapers called him untouchable. Social media called him irresistible. Business rivals called him dangerous. Ariba called him trouble. She had promised herself she would never get involved with men like him. Men who ruled the world as if it were a chessboard. Men who expected people to bend, adjust, surrender. She had spent her life proving she could stand on her own, that she did not need protection, influence, or favors. Yet fate had a strange sense of humor. The government-appointed development council meeting placed her directly across from him. As the lead consultant for a public housing project, she was there to defend the interests of families who had nothing but hope. He was there as the primary investor, the man whose signature would determine whether the project lived or died. When their eyes met, she felt something unexpected. Not fear, not attraction, but recognition. As if he saw her, truly saw her, not as another professional obstacle, but as an equal force. He offered a polite nod. She returned it, equally reserved. The room filled with voices, presentations, numbers. Ariba spoke with clarity and conviction, refusing to soften her stance. She challenged profit margins, questioned timelines, demanded transparency. Many men before her had tried to intimidate her into silence. None had succeeded. Adil listened, not with impatience, not with dismissal, with genuine attention. When she finished, the room waited for his response. Power rested easily on his shoulders as he leaned back, fingers steepled. "You make valid points," he said calmly. "And I agree with more than you think." Surprise rippled through the room. Ariba's brows lifted despite herself. That was the first crack in her resistance. Over the following weeks, meetings turned into debates into long discussions that stretched past schedules. They disagreed often, challenged each other relentlessly, yet there was a strange harmony in their clashes. Where she was fire, he was control. Where he was strategy, she was conscience. Still, she kept her distance. She had seen how people changed around him, how they softened their opinions, laughed too easily, leaned in too close. She refused to be another person drawn into his orbit. She kept conversations professional, her tone firm, her focus unwavering. Adil noticed. He noticed how she never lingered, never sought his approval, never adjusted her voice when speaking to him. He noticed how she walked away from rooms that still whispered his name. And for the first time in years, someone's resistance intrigued him more than admiration ever could. One evening, after a particularly intense meeting, he stopped her as she gathered her files. "Ms. Ariba!" She turned, guarded. "Yes. You challenge me more than my competitors do," he said. "I respect that." She studied him for a moment, searching for arrogance. Finding none. "Respect should be mutual," she replied. "Not strategic." A faint smile touched his lips. Agreed. That smile unsettled her more than his authority ever had. The media soon caught on. Headlines speculated. Cameras flashed. Rumors bloomed without permission. Ariba hated it. She had worked too hard to be reduced to gossip. When a reporter cornered her outside her office, implying favoritism, she felt anger flare. That night, an unexpected message arrived. "Adil Shah, I owe you an apology. The attention is unfair. I'll address it publicly." She stared at the screen. Powerful men rarely apologized. They deflected, dominated, dismissed. The next day, he did exactly what he promised. In front of cameras, he credited her expertise, praised her integrity, and shut down speculation with unwavering clarity. Ariba watched from her office, heart caught between relief and confusion. Why would he do that? The answer came slowly, in actions rather than words. He adjusted project plans to include her recommendations. He backed her proposals, even when they cost him financially. He never spoke over her, never undermined her authority. And when she was exhausted, overwhelmed by responsibility, he noticed without her saying a word. One evening, after a long site visit, rain began to fall. The roads flooded quickly, traffic at a standstill. Her phone battery was nearly dead. She sighed, frustration building. A black car stopped beside her. The window lowered. "Get in," Adil said simply. "It's not safe to wait here." Every instinct told her to refuse. Independence had always been her armor. Yet the rain was heavy, the road chaotic. After a moment's hesitation, she accepted. Silence filled the car, comfortable yet charged. "You don't like depending on anyone," he said, not as an accusation but an observation. "No," she admitted. "I don't." "And yet," he continued, eyes on the road, "strength doesn't disappear when you accept support." She looked at him then, truly looked, not at the powerful man the world saw, but at the person who understood her without trying to control her. That realization caught her off guard. Weeks passed. The project neared completion. The distance between them, once deliberate, had softened. Conversations became warmer, smiles more frequent. Still, neither crossed the invisible line. Until the night of the inauguration. Lights illuminated the new homes. Families gathered with hope shining in their eyes. Applause echoed as speeches concluded. Ariba stood apart, watching children run through streets that had once been empty promises. Adil joined her. "You did this," he said quietly. "We did this," she corrected. He nodded. "You know," he said after a pause, "people assume I always get what I want." She met his gaze. "And do you?" "No," he said honestly. "Some things can't be taken. They have to be given." Her heart raced, understanding blooming too clearly. "I don't want to be a conquest," she said softly. "You never were," he replied. "You're a choice." The words settled between them, heavy with meaning. She realized then that her resistance had not been against him, but against the fear of losing herself. And in all this time, he had never asked her to change, to bend, to surrender. He had simply stood beside her. Caught off guard, she felt something shift. Not weakness, not dependency, trust. The country would continue to see Adil Shah as the most powerful and desired man. But Ariba now saw something else entirely, a man who respected strength, valued integrity, and understood that real connection was built, not claimed. And for the first time, she allowed herself to stop resisting, not because she was overpowered, but because she was finally understood.